Good afternoon, YouTube. It's me all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we're gonna have to begin sex, folks. We're gonna have a little discussion. It's Sunday Roundtable, and I usually have some of my usual suspects. I sent the links out, but they are taking their time. But we do have one young lady who just popped in. We have here is new IFE Pro Diana Perez. She has joined us today for the live. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you for coming.
Hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I appreciate you for coming through. I usually have usually have a go up here, but I think some people are going to come when they come, and they don't. It's just you and me. So, folks, as we talk about things going on, this is the Sunday Run Table number 10, and every Sunday I come on here, and because it's sometimes the best time I get some of you ladies to come on. Because I have a Must Talk Mondays every Monday. And sometimes people are busy on Monday, they're working, when you just and sometimes it's fun to get the perspective, especially about bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding from the women. So, um, a video I've seen, I already talked about this earlier, but for those who have not, uh, recently there is a new champion coming into a new division. As you heard, Missy Trescott is now switching over to figure. Now it's been going around for about a couple of weeks now. She made this announcement earlier this year, and Missy is the three-time fitness champ. And I was usually just gonna my other roundtable we'll talk about that, but since you're still brand new to the sport and you followed for a bit, Diana, what are your thoughts on Missy Trescott making this big move?
Do you have any pictures of her? I believe I saw a post that you made of her, but I don't. I'm not familiar with who she is.
Well, give me a second. Let me pull it up. And Missy, it was a while back ago. She just won her third fitness title after she
Mm.
sustained a very nasty injury at the 2020 three Olympia. It was tough. It took for a while to recover and then to come back. And we should be pulling up in the sec. You know, see where she is. All right. And someone already posted it here. And let me pull it up here on here. Give me a sec. Yeah, and here she is. You should pull it. We see it in a minute. And wait a minute, let me pull it up. Right.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and that is Mrs. Trey Scott says, I'm switching to figure. And that's some big news. I mean, Missy has been champion for the last 3 years. She lost the title once back in 2021 when she lost to Whitney Jones, and then she retained it back in 2022. And then the injury that put her out, where she, you know, didn't win her. She 2023 would win her third title, but then she had that nasty injury and she fell,
Wow.
and now she's going back. But this is, big news, as everybody have heard already about it. I mean, Missy's impressive physique. It's been the talk of the town for the last couple of weeks ever since she made the announcement. But it's pretty big news. I mean, figure's been around for quite some time, and so has fitness. It's one of the fitness is actually one of the second oldest divisions in bodybuilding. For women. It came on around about the time of the '90s, and different compared to what it is now today. But you see competitors now, they just really have really evolved.
Her physique looks phenomenal. She's definitely bringing the heat.
Yeah, I know in some interviews she says she may not be interested in doing physique, but she's close to that. So anyway, that's some big news. Anyway, if people have not been paying attention, also there's some other news that's been going around, and it's I think this is for me, especially for a fan of women bodybuilding. This is some big news that just dropped earlier. Actually last week, and if I had heard of it. the Triple O Dynasty. As you know, that's a show promoted by the former, 8-time figure champion, former multiple time Olympia champ, fitness Olympia champ, and also the current Miss Olympia champ, Iris Kyle. It's Whitney Jones. I'm sorry, Sid Gilling, Iris Kyle, and Whitney Jones. They all come together, and they put up probably one of the biggest prize money for women's bodybuilding outside of the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia. This is some big news. This is exciting for me. They put up, and you're about to see it in a minute, $7,000. Now that's a really big chunk of change compared to some shows where most, you will get, maybe it's or $3,000.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
it's
as you
really
know,
good.
yeah, but for this year's Olympia, I mean, sorry, the Triple O Dynasty, they're not having women's physique, because they don't have
Mm.
promoters. But they pick up some promoters. I don't know. They might change by the time because the show's not till April.
Well, hopefully, someone steps up.
Yeah, no, I think
Do they
last
just
year
need someone to? Do they just need someone to provide a winning price or?
prize money and sanction fee.
Okay.
That's the two things that you have to cover when you do. Cause I think it's like all together, like it's like 25,000. Somebody told me. The sanction fee is just I think about 15, and the rest is the prize money. Depending on each the because you do top three. So and some shows this year are dropping Williams Physique from the lineup. St. Louis Pro, they last year made an announcement they're going to have it for this year, and also the just saw recently a friend of mine showed me that the Legion Sports Festival has decided also to drop Williams Physique from the lineup.
We're just
Yeah.
taking a hit everywhere. You're breaking up a bit.
Okay, so hear me? Hello?
I hear you. You're just yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It might be something on my
Okay.
end. We had some
Might be
crazy
me.
weather today. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's just that's how it is sometimes. Women's physique is starting to get that same little stick out of women's bodybuilding because how the division has changed over the last umpteen years. It was brought in to be more of an alternative because it wasn't that long ago they
Uh-huh.
pushed it out of the Olympia, and now both women's bodybuilding, physique, and figure is no longer the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, which is one of the biggest shows next to the Olympia. And you would think, I don't know. It's just it could be a bit of politics or everything else that's involved in it. Here we have another one of our guests, my man KLA, the wanderer coming through.
Hey,
You know,
what's going on? How y'all doing?
as you know, KLA is also a content maker, and he follows ladies in sport of bodybuilding and muscle. Welcome KL. Also,
Right.
KL meet Diana Perez, IFB Pro. He just
How
turned
you
Hello.
pro
doing?
at Nationals.
Yeah, I seen
Just
her
turned.
a little bit of the interview. Yeah, with you interviewing her.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We got some comments here. And we got here it says, this is from my man Ward 2000. My girl Missy Trescott is going to make the impact in figure like Jessica and Lola, but they need to be alert for the apex predator. Also, we have here a comment from my man Chris. And shout out to Chris. He says, excited to be here. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Also, we got another comment from Chris. He says, I'm a big supporter of the sport as well. Appreciate that, brother. Also, this is from a man, War 2000. Shout out to Warriors. I know I have my crushes, but this is all fun to the games, nothing serious. I have my favorite on the male athlete side too, but the women need our support, so that's why I'm here. I appreciate that,
Thank
brother.
you.
They do need support because it's tough. Also, we got here from a man, Lawrence Perkins says, good afternoon. Uh,
Hey, what's up?
Drizma, Drizmo, George, and everyone in the chat. Appreciate that, brother. And also, this is from uh, my man, Influences War 2000. I believe you're two, yeah, Queen Apex. Yeah. So, is we talk about what's going on. Usually we have discussion about what's going on in sport of bodybuilding, especially for the women's aspect of it. As a competitor, Diane, still you're still relatively new as a pro. What did you see as a athlete that feels that is needed to help yourself to grow and also your division to grow?
Sorry, that was my
Go
watch.
ahead.
Like you said, I'm very new to the sport, so there's definitely a lot that I need to learn. Definitely, I say more people to show up to the actual shows as the audience. I think that, uh, especially since the ladies are the first to usually step up on stage in the amateur, there's not a lot of people out there in the audience. It's usually just your friends and family and, a few stragglers there here and there. So we need people to show up.
Does it be like more like civilians than or just bodybuilders? Because I
Yeah,
remember oh, it's just bodybuilders more that
yeah,
be in the audience. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it is the bodybuilders. Even for the national show, the national championships, it was kind of empty. So
Mm,
a bigger
Yeah,
audience would help.
yeah. Here we get here another one of our usual suspects, my man Jeremy, aka the Art of Female Muscle Femme Physique fan. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming through.
Hey,
As
how's it
you know,
going?
yeah,
hey,
as you know, Jeremy, you saw earlier this week that they announced that they put up some big prize money for some shows, especially at Triple O Dynasty.
Yeah, I did see that. I think it's a great thing. I think that it's probably a result of them getting rid of WPDs that they may have just transferred the money that they were going to have for that division over into WBB. But that's always good. I mean, as long as there is an increase in the prize money. So
Yeah, that does help out. Yeah, we have here from a man. Shout out from man Execution 23 says, "Happy Sunday, George, Page, and chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming through." Also, we have here. This is from my man Chris Miz. He says, uh, "Do you all know that demographic of fans who support the women bodybuilders and women physique athletes?" Not really. I think it's I
good
would say it's
question.
kind of yeah, it's kind of a mix. You would say, I think it's a good number of the people who are supporting the family members who come there and support them. The good numbers are the fans, or I think I often say this is strongly males. A lot of men follow bodybuilding, especially when it comes to the women. The bigger numbers are usually with the men's division.
Mhm.
Because everybody likes the big freak guys. You know, and when it comes to women, I think by the standards, people prefer more of the feminine look of like a division like bikini. You know, and as you know, as we have talked about quite a few times, there's a new division coming up. I'm just, I'm. You know what? Let's let the lady speak. So, Diana,
I'm
give
gonna
us
keep
your thought.
my opinions. I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself.
Oh yeah, because we don't
I'm
want to. We
too.
don't want to
I'm
get you in
too
trouble.
young. Yeah,
We don't
I'm
want to get
early
you
in the
too.
game.
Yeah, we don't want to get you too much trouble. But we,
Hey, if it brings more money, it's business. If it brings more money, then hopefully they
we
put some of that to the women's physique figure and women's bodybuilding. Hopefully,
well,
cross finger.
I hope that, but I doubt it. I'm honestly going to
Uh,
doubt it. It's going to be going to the back pockets of promoters and the head in the higher ups. Not even the competitors will ever see too much of it because this is the thing is I keep saying this. People don't come to see the judges or the promoters or whoever. They come see y'all. We come see you, the competitors, and we pay the tickets and we pay the time to come see y'all. And if anything, this is should be investing into the athletes, the money that comes out of it, because if the prize money was a little better, if it was where you could make a living, a real living off of being a professional bodybuilder, it can really help you in the long run. You don't have to hold, like I just had a couple ladies say, one lady that usually have to come on here, she's busy because she has to get ready for upcoming competition season. Usually she'd be game to do this, but right now she's trying to make up with some money. So I understand that, I respect that. But this is going to be something about trying to get more mainstream attention. That's good. We appreciate that. But if it takes away from those other divisions that put in the time and the work to do what they do, this is about bodybuilding. Recently, I saw my man KL did an interview with a young lady. She just turned pro just a while back, and she's kind of on the thing about how this is just about bodybuilding. Building the body, developing. And if you're going to bring in something that really kind of, I don't know, fix the problems that are already here, but not trying to find something to just glaze over because it's popular.
Yeah. And I think a lot of influencers are definitely going to hop on that division, and who knows, maybe it will make bodybuilding more mainstream. It's still very taboo for women, very taboo. Um, so cross my fingers that it helps. It helps us out.
Yeah, I hope it does. We have your comment from my man, you know, Lawrence says that's a blessing that they put up the prize money. Appreciate that, brother. Also, this is from War 2000. I know what you're thinking, George. Freaking fit model division. Uh, just to up a little in my mouth. Excuse me, y'all. Can't stand this new division. Yeah, brother. I'm not a fan of it either. Also, he says this. He says, I believe the sport should be about quality of muscle to some degree, whether it's a figure fitness and women's physique and women's bodybuilding. These other divisions is dragging the damn sport. Yeah, well, some people have different opinion of it. You know that it might affect the sport a bit, but you know, it's if anything can help it, that's good. I mean, any kind of help. Sometimes there's an old saying I heard a long time ago. Even even Satan's hands take help from the devil. That's how it is sometimes. It's just it's important to storm. So, folks, still we get, I think, a good 2 or 3 months coming up. I think the biggest shows coming up. This is going to be the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Arnold, he can tell you it's not the tumor. So we're gonna go on this again. Do you feel that he should bring back women's bodybuilding physique and figure to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic? So, we'll start with you, Jeremy.
He could have last year. He didn't. I mean, remember
Yeah.
they came. This is a show that has the financial wherewithal to come up with an extra $200,000 to give to one guy, to one person in the Arnold Classic. I mean, he could have taken half of that money, brought back all three divisions: women's bodybuilding, women's physique, and figure, given them a chunk of prize money each, and still had 100K left over to give to this one guy. He didn't do it. So if that tells you where the Arnold Sports Festival is when it comes to these other three divisions, I don't think they're ever coming back. But boy, are they ever going to dump into the fit model division. You better believe they're going to hammer that through, just like just like they're already doing with all of the major shows that are coming out. I mean, he could have brought it back last year. The fact is, he just doesn't want to do it. So, I mean, that's sad that it has to be that way. I understand the desire to make money. I understand desire to be a business, but it becomes all business, and then you lose sight of what bodybuilding is supposed to be all about. It's about exceptional muscle. It's not about being the average girl in the street, which is what I see the fit model division is eventually going to be. If I'm listening to what Tyler Mannion is saying as to what they're looking for, so it's like for me, it's just the Arnold. I'm out with them. I mean, this has been going on now for how long? 12 years for women's bodybuilding, and not as long, but for women's physique and now figure. I mean, I think it's pretty clear as to where they're going. Because if your show has the financial wherewithal that you can come up with an extra almost $250,000 to give to one guy, you have the money to come up with, have the money to be able to get the ability to get the money to be able to bring those three women's shows back. And if they're not going to do it, they just don't want to. I just think that's sad. The interesting thing will be is the Arnold Amateur that's going to be held there. Is that supposedly, according to the Arnold Amateur website, now the women's bodybuilders are going to be vying for a pro card for that show. So that apparently it's going to be a pro qualifier. But I wonder about that because, and I posted this over on my IG, the latest revision to the NPC worldwide rules that just came out in January 4th, they didn't make any mention of this. So you got one site saying one thing, you got one authoritative site saying one thing about a show, and then you got another one saying another. So it's like, which is it? Are they going to be getting the pro card? Are they not going to be getting the pro card? Because, I mean, it'd be frustrating for competitors. I mean, all the sheer blood, toil, tears, and sweat that goes into one contest prep, only to get there and then realize, hey, we've made a mistake. Nobody's getting a pro card. So the whole reason why you went there got eliminated. So that's why I wish there was more continuity on these sites as to what the actual damn rules are. And unfortunately, they're not. So if they are going through with that, I think that's a great positive. But I just wish that they would have a pro show there at the Arnold for them to compete at if and when they do get that pro card in the amateur. I think that
Well,
would.
well, as you remember, the Auto is an invitational show, so they unless they get an invite, because that's what used to be the tradition for it, especially for the Michigan National or physique title or figure title. Even if they do with their pro card, you have to be invited, kind of like with the Rising Phoenix. I don't know would they do it. And in the last 2 years, since they did add it women's bodybuilding to the All Classic, there was no ladies to get their pro cards. I know one lady, she could, it was her and three other ladies, and they had to both compete in both women's body and women's physique, and not enough competitors because they go by the rules that if there's not enough competitors, you don't get your pro card. Even if you do have at least four competitors in one division, if there's no, I think the move would be over five because I think with that same thing happened with Diana. She contested that when she did the nationals, and it was only I think five of y'all for women's bodybuilding, six. Like
They only handed out one card.
yeah, because usually if you have at least enough for a class, like you're gonna have like heavyweight, lightweight, middleweight, and then sometimes it's just maybe lightweight and heavy. Then you just have those who win their class, and then just do the overall. And Natalie was the only one to win both her pro card and the overall at that show. And you won yours in women's physique because you took second to Natalie in your class.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And what's your thoughts about the Arnold? Would it like if you had not got your pro card nationals, would you have done the Arnold?
No, I wouldn't have risked it. I'd seen a lot of young women who compete and win, and they don't get their pro card because either there weren't enough competitors or. So I'm not going to risk it. It was either nationals or the amateur Olympia. Those were my national shows that I wanted to do.
That's smart because you don't want to burn yourself out. I know, especially
Yeah.
you don't want to miss the good Christmas dinner. So
Right, it's
so,
early in the year. It's yeah, you would have to do a prep during all the holidays, and it's just too much to not get a pro card or not place. So
yeah. Here we got come from my man Warrior 2000. Shout out to Warrior. Says Arnold, the dead withered Austrian oak stump. That's cool, but that's cool. Also, this is from me. It says Arnold is not the Austrian oak no more. Those days is long gone. He's gotten old and senile to the point where he is not using good judgment when it comes to women division. Now, that's, you might say that, but he's also still a businessman. He understands the appropriate of business. Also, as man Lawrence Perkins says, remember all the bodybuilding company back in 2005, years back, the West Coast had a lot of shows. Every time I think about the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, yeah, there was quite a few in the West Coast, but things changed. Also, this is from Man War 2000s. I'm trying my damn hardest not to go on a rant about Arnold as here's so bear with me, you all. I understand, brother. We understand. This is from the Menlo Punkers. We are understand that warrior long as we keep supporting the sport, that's all it matters. I appreciate these ladies do appreciate sport. It's from man Chris Messi says, I see you pull no punches, warrior. When you speak, your honest mind. We appreciate that too. Also, this is from man Stephen Prey. He says, all the new pro female bodybuilders are coming out of South America. Not really.
Oh, there's a lot though.
It's good, but not as many because it's that other than maybe if they do the Olympia um, amateurs, and then there's a few like there's the Arnold you know classic show in South America, some Brazilian there, but I think there's more shows here in the States.
Mm.
And you got to think about shows like the UD Nationals. There's the there's the USA's, Masters USA's, North Americans, Junior Nationals, Junior USA's, North Americans, Team Collegiate. I mean, there is, and then if you have so many different classes, because I interviewed a couple ladies who won their pro cards and women uh, body and physique at 35 and 40 plus. I think the numbers has grown a bit in around South America, but still there's bigger numbers here in America. And also you can't forget Europe. They have quite a few shows coming from across the ocean. You know,
Makes me wonder why Arno hasn't done much for the women's side of the sport. Someone should ask him the really hard questions, put him on the spot. Like, why won't he do it? At least justify it.
I
well, I
don't think he
remember.
likes women bodybuilders like that, from my understanding. I was watching a documentary, and like one bodybuilder, she wanted to approach Arnold and stuff because he canceled a show, and I think that was that's when Rising Phoenix came about, but he canceled one of the shows, and that was it of women's bodybuilding. And so, the lady was curious, and I think somebody had told her that, he never really liked the muscular women like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the documentary "Too Big for the World." If you want
Yeah.
to see what's happening with that, because that was Irene Anderson, and that was her mission, was basically to say why is it that we're not there anymore, and that's the whole purpose of the documentary. So I think it's available here on YouTube if you ever
Yeah.
wanted to go watch it, because I
Yes.
mean, so he's been confronted for 12 years now by women as to why it is that he decided to pull that out. Because I mean, it's the second most prestigious show in women's bodybuilding with its own 35-year history. So everybody
Yeah.
was wanting to know, why in the world are you doing this? The release that they gave officially back in the day essentially just said, oh, well, now we're going to get rid of the women, but now we're going to bring in this exciting new division called the men's 212. And so essentially they said in the release, said, we're getting rid of the women in favor of the men. And
Mm.
people were started screaming out, sex discrimination, anybody? We've got like laws in this country against that. And they were sued and they were, I'm trying to remember who it was, but they were sued for that because of
I
that.
think
So the reason that the reason they gave in their official press release was essentially, we're getting rid of the women in favor of the men. And it's like, how in the world can you do that with the laws we have in this country? So I don't know where that went. I don't know if it pulled out, but yeah, they have been trying to do that now, specifically for women's bodybuilding for 12 years, and it's gotten nowhere. But
Yeah.
that's why when Jake Wood came along after they got rid of the Miss Olympia, when he decided to do his own show, I mean that basically took over for it. So, but I
Mhm.
mean, it was in fact the big show because they got rid of the Miss International in 2013, and then they got rid of the Miss Olympia in 2014. Then his show basically became the combination of the two until they brought back the Miss Olympia in 2020.
Wow.
So
And
yeah,
then
they have. So it's not like he has not been confronted with it. It's just the reasons are bullshit,
mhm.
as far as I'm concerned. So
And you know, the Miss Internationals now is a pro qualifier because you know they had it part of Chicago Pro. They had it for the last 5 or 6 years as a pro qualifier. Because I know my friend Tina Williams, she earned her pro card at that show, and a couple of ladies also earned their pro cards. You know, through that show. I think the also, as you know, it's an invitation for if you win the overall title, you get invited to the Rising Phoenix.
Mhm.
And I think the last person who took the invitation was Taylor Rocky. That was back in 2023. Last couple of years, no one has taken it because you know some don't want to. You know, you got to think about it, being up against some of the top level competitors, and you know you don't want to be put in that position just yet. You want the time to grow and stew. And yeah, because it's just it's all about politics, especially when it comes to the women. And it's funny thing about how they brought in 212. Now that is gone from Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And
Mm.
that's kind of funny. You brought that in that great women's bodybuilding, but then you turn around and kick that out. I
Mm.
mean, I don't care much about it, but still, that sounds some kind of you know, hypocrisy. Say that you brought in this division because you want women's bodybuilding, but you got rid of the guys who were smaller. Here we got a comment here from shout out to my man you know, Warrior says, I wonder if Franco Colombo create a classic bodybuilding contest to show for all the divisions, except wellness and bikini, just as a hypocritical thought. Nah, you know, Franco's been gone for a long time. He wouldn't do it. You know, he's not that type of guy. You know, that's Arnold's little buddy. He'll ride and die with him to the wheels fall off. So you know, Franco would never do something like that. Also, shout out to my man Steph Francis. Arnold's almost 80 and setting his waist. That's true. That's true. When you get to that old, you get set your waist. Wow, 80 years old. He sounds like he should retire. Well, you know, what he's not doing much anything. You know, his last couple of movies hadn't really been. You know, he did a State Farm commercial for the Super Bowl last year. You know, I
They
mean,
did.
yeah, him and
Uh,
Danny DeVito. They did a little, and then there was that little appearance they made. It was the at the Oscars. You know, because remember Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze in one of the Batman movies, and
yeah.
Danny DeVito was the Penguin. They were picking it Michael Keaton as Batman, even though it wasn't the Batman that Arnold Schwarzenegger faced. He faced off with George Clooney. You know, I'm saying I'm not a fan of him. He's the worst Batman of all. Also, you got here another guy here. He's not my man. Give me a second. My man Ward Johnson says Sarah Vigors offering money to Arnold wasn't enough to persuade him to bring back the WPD category to what will be take to change his mind with the WBB too. Well, yeah, because Sarah offered $20,000
Mm.
out of her own pocket. And you know, and that's a real sign of a champion. She came up in defense of her division. That's why now they have the you know, Texas Pro. I remember that one year she put up money for both Texas Pro and Pittsburgh. I think she put up $10,000 for the Pittsburgh Pro, and that was the year Natalia won it, and then also won the title from her. And then she puts up 50,000 for the Texas Pro, and as you know, this year they're going to be having women's bodybuilding. I'd like to know what's going to be the prize money for that show. I mean, and who's the ones? You know, is it? I wonder who's behind it. Is it Wings of Strength? You know, is it? You know, I know Sarah's put the money for it, or is it somebody else?
well, yeah, they're going to turn down money that you offer to be able to bring it back, more than likely they're not going to. That was the case with Jake Wood with the Miss Olympia when they got rid of it in 2014. He went to the promoters, the AMI promoters, and he offered the money. And he said, "Hey guys, I'm here. I got money. I'd like to bring this back." They turned him down flat. And that's why he came back with the Rising Phoenix, because he said he didn't want this to die. And now, which is, it's a poetic irony today, in which the show that turned down Jake Wood is now the one that Jake owns. I thought that was, I thought that was poetic justice. So, but yeah, if they're gonna turn down money that you're offering them to bring back a division, more than likely they're not going to. I mean, the way that I see it, the Triple O Dynasty was created as a response to that. Was created as a response saying, okay, fine, you don't want to bring back our divisions, we're going to go ahead and do our own thing. And I think that's wonderful on the part of Whitney and Sydney and Andrea and then Natalia. I thought that was wonderful that they decided to create that alternative at the same time, albeit in a different area in the country. But yeah, they're going to turn down money that you're willing to give them in order to bring the show back. They just simply don't want it back, and that's why they're turning it down. So
Hmm.
I think those divisions are pretty much done, unfortunately, with the Arnold Sports Festival. So, and it's going to be interesting to see what impact the fit model division is going to have. Because I've said this now here quite a number of times. Every time one of these new divisions has come along, and there's only so much support to go around for the women's divisions, eventually all the other existing divisions get support pulled from them in order to be able to put this new division on, which means now you've got the bikini and the wellness competitors are now going to start experiencing what the women bodybuilder, women's physique, figure, and fitness competitors have been experiencing for 20 years now, and that's a decrease in support because everybody's going to put all their eggs in the fit model division. But that means now we have seven. What is it now? Seven divisions for the women. I
7.
mean, something is going to have to give somewhere. So unfortunately, I think what you're going to see is you're going to start seeing more and more shows getting rid of WBB and WPD in order to be able to compensate for that. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that there are more people like Jake Wood out there who will step up. But knowing what I've seen for the last 25 years, I don't know if that's going to be the case. So it's just going to be interesting. Because remember what happened at the beginning of last year. We had 4 shows that pulled, like with a space of a matter of months, that were pulled for women's bodybuilding. And then Jake Wood and what's his name? Trying to remember the other guy's name. They decided to come back with shows like the Titans Grand Prix.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that guy that they moved it to Anaheim, but it's not on the list for this year because I remember we talked with Keith. He said there was a big crowd, a lot of people, and they felt certain that there was going to be, when he talked to the promoter, he felt certain that we were going to be coming next year. I don't know. I might look at the list again, but I don't think he has been updated because once after nationals, they updated the list, and what's there is there because it's still. I think they did change the date for the Masters Olympia. That's going to be the 1st of October instead of like towards the end of October. And it's just they often, I don't know. You understand again the thing about the money thing, but these divisions, especially women's bodybuilding, if it wasn't for women's bodybuilding, you wouldn't have fitness or figure or even physique. You know, with wellness and bikinis, no offense to the competitors, but the division is an invasive species. It didn't grow out of the other divisions. Like, when the women who felt they were too small for women's bodybuilding, then they created fitness. And then they want to do all the jump around chicken sweat. Then they created figure. They just cut out the routines and just use posing in your posing suit. And then here comes physique because they want the more athletic look. They want to go back to um, the one person I think it really was an example of women's bodybuilding was Linda Murray. or Corey Everson. They wanted to go back to that, but and now they want to go back to Daniel Lee Bailey. But the thing is, you can't go back to those divisions. You can't. It's about as athletes grow and they evolve. It's a moving forward process.
How they gonna evolve? Like, I don't know. Let's just asking the question.
Well, we got a female competitor, tell you.
How do you
It's
evolve?
interesting though because I feel like there's more women that are drawn to muscle now, and younger women too. I'm seeing really amazing physiques at 20, 21 years old. I mean, it, it's popular. It's becoming more popular with women. So it's hard to understand its disconnect with something that 30 years ago would have been not normal, not okay. And now that we do have the competitors, just there's so many out there. Why are they just pulling out shows like that?
Well, like I said, it's a mix of politics and then also society's views of women with muscle. It's to their mindset, to the everyday person. Even if we're not as big as some of the women we've seen in over the years, but just any kind of muscle. They
Yeah.
even pick on bikini girls who have muscle because it's just something different. But like I said, again, as any athletes evolve over time, if you look at sports like football, basketball, you look at boxing, you look at how athletes change. You remember back in the day, football players used to have a leather helmet. Now you have concussion helmets.
Yeah.
Baseball players used to hit with wooden bats. Now you have aluminum. Things change in any sport, but the
Mhm.
people want the idea of with women, you're not supposed to change. You're supposed to stay the same, still feminine, all this and all that. But as like you said again, lies women coming in now love muscle. They
Yeah.
love to grow. They love to gain, and that's the problem with this division. Those women coming into that division, they're gonna, because they're gonna be at shows with top competitors, pros and amateurs, and then they can't cross over because there's no that you can't even do even bikini. You can't even do figure. You can't even do any division. You have to do that division exclusively. Then after a while, they're saying like this, I can't, and we all know the money thing about it. That's why they allow crossovers because there's money make out of
Yeah. Right.
crossovers. Yeah. But then with that division, those competitors be saying like, I might want to do a figure show and try to get my pro card there. But hey, you gotta stay here. But then you have so many somebody competitor can compete against to get that pro card. It's gonna get harder and harder. And eventually they're gonna say, you know what? I'm not gonna stay here anymore. Let me go over here. Let me do this regular bikini. Then I can cross over and do figure. And then eventually after a while, I can probably just do women's physique or do wellness.
But the
And this,
complicated thing that some of the competitors, they don't want to grow big. They don't want to get bigger neither. Because remember your friend with Jada, she was doing bodybuilding and women physique, and I think she said she wasn't feeling comfortable, like gaining in women's bodybuilding. She wasn't feeling comfortable on gaining all that too much muscle, and so she kind of went to wellness. And then I mean, it's other like even the ones that I talk to, like like certain people in wellness, they wouldn't want to do women's bodybuilding, you know. So I don't know. It's it, I hear what you're saying about what society wants women in a certain way, but I think even the competitors, it's like a limit. I don't know if Dresmo she has a limit, but from what
Uh, uh, I know that at a certain body fat, uh, it gets uncomfortable. So at a certain weight, I know I have to cut it for the sake of my health. So I'm only going up as much as my body allows. You know, I want to get big. I want to be big. Um, but I want to be here for the long term, and with that, it means taking it slow and not really pushing it too hard.
yeah, because I mean, It's interesting that Linda Murray, on one of her shows, Femplex Friday, she posts a statistic that says 66%. And that's the total number of competitors in bodybuilding now that are women. They
Wow.
now actually um, are they're higher numbers than the men. More women are now in bodybuilding than there are men. And the thing is that I know why they're doing this fit model division. They're going to try and bring in more people, but have they anticipated how many? Because when they first brought in Figure back in the day, you had upwards of 100 to 150 girls showing up just for one show, for a national level show. And that also has happened now with bikini. That happens. That's also not necessarily with wellness, but I just see that this fit model division is going to explode. And the thing is that yeah, it gets more interest in the bodybuilding community. The problem is the shows go on for so damn long.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like you already have 6 divisions with Lord knows how many women showing up. Now you're going to add a 7th one, which is going to be the most popular one, which means you're probably going to have upwards of 100 women just showing up for that division, which means, I mean, we're already at shows now that start on a Thursday and go all the way to Sunday. I don't think that's going to be tolerated by the fan base. Shows that go on that long, especially in this economy where you can't afford hotel accommodations or a hotel stay for that long just for something like a bodybuilding show. I mean, I hate to be the Debbie Downer here. It's just I followed this now for 41 years, and I've seen this now. All these new divisions show up for 25 years, and it's like they're following this exact same steps than they have before, and they haven't helped. They just haven't.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's like George says, it's like we've said here, fix the shit you've already got. Don't bring in new shit. Because all that's
Yeah.
does is you're just piling shit on shit.
Yeah.
That's
It's
it.
like I said again. It's like for my favorite movie, Scarface, when Tony is about to get chopped up. It's like performing surgery with a chainsaw. Had a good idea. You know, you have the problem. Fix it what you have in front of you instead of just slapping, like trying to slap another problem on top of another one. It's not going to help it. It's just going to be a mess because after a while, like I said, yes, some of the women not going to stay. They're going to rather stay as they are. But then the good number of them, because they love growing muscle, they're going to be influenced by looking at some of these competitors and look at how they grow. And then they just, all you got to do is go to the gym, like, was it 2 or 3 times out of the week? That's the most, and you do more cardio than anything. And then, when you don't have to have like a diet like a bodybuilder, you just eat like any other person, just be smarter in what you choosing, what you're eating. Because you not have to grow you don't have to really grow no size, no definition. You just eating just to keep yourself energy while you're working out. But that's the thing is the big difference between these actual bodybuilders. They don't eat they have to build their body. Their food is used for the material to build the body. And if you're on like you're eating 5, 6 times a day, while this person here just only eats like maybe just like any other person, he has his lunch, breakfast, dinner, and maybe a little snack, and that's it. Here we get here comment from my man Warrior. Shot to Warrior says, "You are so right, George. Uh, Batman and Robin was animal crap compared to all the other Batman films, and George Clooney was not steaming. Was a hot steaming garbage as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Thank you. Also, where it says the routine of women's bodybuilders are at the Miss Olympia is now currently cut down to less than a minute. They were back in the day. They were used to have more time doing their routines, like 2 minutes. Miss that, yeah, because back then there weren't that many divisions, and then you go back to the 80s and the 90s. The women's bodybuilding Miss Olympia was separate because sometimes those ladies can have 2 4 minutes routines. They can really put on a real
Oh yeah.
performance. But
One of my favorites is from Corey Everson at the 1987 Miss Olympia. It's over 5.5 minutes long, and the crowd absolutely loves it. You can hear them getting involved with it. So it's like I wish they were able to bring that back, but it's like you said, there were no other women's divisions to worry about, and there was no Olympia weekend at the time. The Miss Olympia shows were held by themselves, so they had all that time by which, if
Mhm.
you wanted to do a longer routine, you could.
Mhm.
But now, the way that it is with so many people at
Yeah.
shows now, and now even going to be more, who knows? They may cut it down to like 10 seconds. You,
Yeah.
you get a note from a song, and your routine consists of you waving your hand from as you walk from one edge of the stage to the other.
You like
As
That's
long
Zumba?
as
that's
it,
the posing routine.
Yeah.
as long as the fitness division will be like the bikini with like what, like 20 competitors on the stage, and it it'd be putting you to sleep, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, with fitness, they usually don't have that many competitors compared to the others. That's the lowest numbers among the women's body divisions.
No, the
Compared by
fitness
the
model
division.
division, not fitness. The
Oh, okay.
fitness
Okay. Well,
fitness
okay. Okay.
model.
Yeah. Yeah. That's gonna be like about as bad as bikini.
Yeah.
You just turn around. Like my man, one of my favorite routines was Bev Francis '91, her last Miss Olympia. She was just, if you know Bev, she came in like a monster, and she went out like a monster. She was dancing. She was doing like #1, and I just loved it, and especially how she looked, like the lighting. I don't know what kind of oil they used or what kind of cannon they used. She was just beautiful. She looked like a knight going out on the last jousts, just shine up that armor real good and let the light shine off of it. She looked great. Here we got here from a man Warrior says 30 to 40 seconds routine compared to a minute and two is regression. Things like that is something we need to work to improve on. Or, like I said, one thing they might just do this: if fit and model and just have it, because what they usually do, what they do this a lot is like for the men's open, they have their prejudging late that night, right after the women's division. That was crazy because remember, Keith talked about this, how no one wants to sit till almost 12, 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the guys.
Right.
Just do this. Usually the Olympic weekend starts, I think, usually that Tuesday. Start it that Monday. All right. Start the you start the amateurs for that Monday. Then you have that little spot where you have the get together, yada yada yada, and then you take that Sunday and make that for the last show, and then you have the little press conference the next Monday.
So
That
wait,
would.
so wait a minute. Now the Olympia weekend is now a week long.
Mm.
I mean,
It's just
they're still calling it a weekend, and we're talking a show that's going from Monday to next Monday. That ain't a weekend.
well, folks. I have a guest here. This is somebody
Olympia
new.
week is more.
Well, it starts in the week anyway. You might as well say we have Mr. Wesley, Curry. Hello, sir. Welcome. Thank you for coming
Oh,
through.
yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, my name's
I,
Wesley Curry. Yesterday I said, Jesus, I fail you not believing in your forgiveness. Thank you for showing me a foot that did not bleed when it is cut off. And it's written in James chapter 5. And Jesus, I fail you from my branchless faith, like straight trees without branch on the left side of a valley in a vision. Jesus, would you give everybody on earth bread? And he did. So, hi, I'm
hi,
that guy.
hi. I appreciate you, brother,
And
for coming
I
through.
asked no other name than Jesus to send the bread.
All right, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. You have any thoughts or anything?
Well, I had seen my soul years ago while asleep, though my mouth said Jesus, 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 though my lips said I'm washed in the blood and baptized in his name, I was lip service, not really believing in my heart, only with my mouth. So Jesus showed me my soul, and it was like dead gray ashes from head to toe. Those ashes, death. My name blotted out of the book of life. Those ashes are death. the wages of sin, the shadow of death in Psalm 23. And in my belly, a pearl of light. And that pearl of light is the kingdom of God, the word of God, the valley in the shadow of death. The vision Jesus said to tell, the one with the orange red in the bottom dark green leaves, the two little creatures, one cutting off the foot and the other one smiling. So I said, Jesus, I sin against you when I sin against these people, when I am double-minded and double-hearted and double-tongued. When I do that to them, I'm like those two little creatures in wedding clothes with big heads, one cutting off a foot, and then the other one smiling and lifting its hands, but neither really saying any words. When I watch too much TV, I do magic. When I smoke a cigarette, I do sorcery. When I sell your name, Jesus, for money, I do wizardry. When I am sluggish with the Holy Spirit, I do witchcraft. The spinning of the circles that were made of gold and silver with rusted edges in the vision. I sin against Jesus doing magic, wizardry, sorcery, and witchcraft. So telling that vision, the pearl of light in my soul restored my soul from ashes into light, baptized in the Holy Spirit. And when my tongue ceased to be ashes in spirit and holy light, when I said, Jesus, would you give all of these people a taste in their mouth right now of honey? And after that, put in their mouths the taste of strawberry cake. I pray only to Jesus.
Well, we appreciate you coming through, brother. Thank you for the prayers. We really appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you, and I hope you have a great day.
I'm like,
Nice
wow.
sermon. Nice sermon.
Nice sermon. Nice sermon. Yeah.
I didn't know where he was going with that. I'm just thinking he was metaphor, then he was gonna talk about what we talking about, but he just, I don't know, whatever. But
Yeah, because I leave the comment if anybody wants to come in, like guys like War 2000 or or Rocky Hamilton. Usually, Diana. We usually don't have it like that, but
yeah, that's
Oh no,
crazy.
yeah,
that's
That
all
was
right. Hey, that's the world we live in now.
it's wild. It's wild. I think people were crazy when they shut down TikTok, but say it's back on again now.
Oh, is
But
it?
yeah, yeah. I think I went and checked my because I posted something a couple of days ago. I don't jump my TikTok too often. I just got it just to get it because like everybody else.
Mm.
And I went on. It's some shit going on. Just mostly just people say thank Donald Trump. Hell no, you don't do shit. So fuck 'em. So but yeah, it's back on. I think some people were concerned about it, but it's about money. Anything that can make money for somebody, they're not gonna let it go too long. Don't look too much into political stuff. If it's when it comes to money, money talks, bullshit walks. But back to the subject of how if bodybuilding can be more profitable for the athletes, where which they can really make a living off of it, and we talked about this before, where if mainstream companies get involved with it, but the only thing is always the issue is going to be the steroids. But the thing is, we keep talking about this. Steroids is only a small factor of it. You see more use in mainstream sports like football, basketball, boxers. I used to do quite a bit of content of MMA, mixed martial arts, and women have been busted for using it. Men have been busted for using it. But because of bodybuilding, because of the streaming of the sport, most mainstream companies don't want to get involved with it. Like with a week for last, me and my man here, we talked about how back in the day you saw bodybuilders in movies, like Corey Evans in the movie No Double Impact, and she was in a couple other movies and TV shows. Rachel McLesh, Iron Eagle, Ironheart, and Ravenhawk. There was one day I mentioned we were doing in our live stream. Tegan Clive, she did movies and stuff, but Hollywood's just not comfortable with the idea of women muscle. You know, I would if I could, if I had the resources, I would love to do like a updated version of Pumping Iron 2, where I get to follow some female bodybuilders. And one lady who is a friend of mine, Tisha Tigress Thomas, her documentary "I Am the Tigress," which really laid out what women go through as bodybuilders. And also, can't forget Irene Anderson's "Too Big for This World." You know, I think this if someone had the interest in it, and the need to really reach out to some of the competitors. And I think some competitors are kind of, tentative about doing these things because
Mm,
they don't want to get that kind of bad look because of
right.
what people might think of them in these documentaries.
But they're going to have to. They have to get one of the big things that would help this a lot is that female bodybuilders in particular, they got to get out in the streets. In some cases, literally. It's like I've seen a woman, this woman. I wish I could remember what she was, but that's what she basically does. She films herself posing in various public venues, like out on a dock, out on a public square, such like that.
Yes, I know
And
what you're
she's just
talking
got a
about.
she's got a box there. It says the art of muscle, and that's all the
Yeah,
videos are. And
yeah.
it's like that's ambassadorship. That's the thing that's going to get people asking questions about it. But it's like when you bring this up and say, "Hey, how about doing that?" Every excuse in the world is brought up as to why not to do it. But that's one of the things. If you really want to do that, um, I brought this up here before. Gladiadores de Ferro. That's a group of women bodybuilders whom in Brazil who got together. They just came up with this on their own. They got together. They went out to one of the main cities, Sao Paulo, and they went to one of the major. I think it's like the Central Park of the city, and they staged a training session. They brought out some dumbbells, they brought out some weights out there, and they did a training session. And once they had attracted a crowd, Selma, she talked to the crowd about women's bodybuilding. She said, "This is why we're involved with this. This is how I got started. This is why we do this." I'm like, that's ambassadorship. That's getting the word out. People are expecting the people to come to the gym. They're not going to. Which means if you really want to get word out about this, the women have got to start doing stuff like that. A great example I brought up here is Teresa Abansik. She has gone on numerous podcasts about entrepreneurship. So, and not ones that are not dealing with bodybuilding per se, but just small business owners. And I mean, that's one of the other things is that to stop going around the bodybuilding circuit and outside of that into the public sphere. So unless more women are willing to do that as well, I mean, yeah, the fans can show up. Yeah, the fans can show up and like Diana said, that we to go to the shows and such, but there's also got to be work on the part of the competitors to be willing to get the word out about what they're doing. So unless both of those happen, it's going to be hard to see things progress, I think.
Mm.
So
I agree.
just the way I
We
see
need
it.
to be more. We need to be more entertaining. We need to make things more interesting among us. I mean, George and I, we spoke in my interview about uh, like uh, good posers like Rachel Daniels, classical queen, and I was pointing out how Rachel Daniels has created her own image. She's like the villain. She's the big bad wolf, and it makes it interesting. I mean, Rachel Daniels is one of the reasons why I started bodybuilding. I mean, I wanted to look like that. I wanted to be a badass. So I think if we had more entertaining, and I need to work on this myself. If we have more entertaining, we made ourselves more interesting and more entertaining. We could probably improve. It
Do
would
you know how? Do you know
uh,
how?
I like posing. I think uh, if I continue working on that, maybe I could create a little bit more content. So
If
Yeah.
you're interested in that, Diana, there's something that Rachel has been doing now, at least I think like 3 or 4 times. She's now posted YouTube videos. Have you seen those? Of her
uh,
posing with the likes of Kai Green
yes,
and
yes.
such like. See, you might try and talk with her and see about who that company is because she's done like 3 or 4 things with them now. Brooke Walker has done the same thing. She's put out stuff like that. I don't know if that'd be something that you'd be interested in, but it's like creative posing.
Yes.
That may be something to look at. I don't know exactly who the company is, but you might look into that if that's something that you're interested in getting your name out there. So
Yeah. As you know, Rachel Daniels is the call is the real Lois Lane. I'm trying to pull up her, and she is a popular poser among a lot of the ladies. She's does also other stuff she talks about on her social media platform because she does have a she's on YouTube. She's on other platforms. I was trying to find her link, but this is the link of the lady that was talking about Sarah. She just competed this year. She did the the Portugal Pro. And this is her. She's in Barcelona, and um, I was in contact with her, maybe doing an interview sometime down the line, but we just don't know because she lives somewhere. I think it's a French territory. I forgot which one it is. He mentioned it. Yeah, and this year she's doing supposedly she's in Barcelona, Spain. She's a great physique. I think she was top 5 at the Portugal Pro. I mean, there's one where it is. I think it's right here. Where oh, she's up here. She's on the stairs here, and she, yeah, there goes. It shows bodybuilding is art,
Yeah.
and she has amazing body.
That's
A
beautiful.
lot of potential. Yeah. I,
What's her name again?
I'll
Sarah.
post her
What?
link in the
Oh,
Sobat.
Sabat. Okay.
Sobat. You know, yeah, she's from somewhere the Caribbean. It's French territory because she speaks French. You know, and she last competed at the Portugal Pro last year. I think she was the top 5 at that show. And she has a impressive physique. I ain't gonna lie. She has a
Yeah.
great body. Yeah, she has potential, but we don't know if she's gonna compete this year. She might because this is her first competition in almost I think in 5 years. Actually, there's a video of her. If you ever seen it, where she's out and about. It's somewhere here on her IG. It's dig deep in it. It's like, and I saw this one long ago, and you realize it was her. And it's her. She's was this it was this couple, and they were out and about. It was in Miami, and if I could ever find it, it's probably somewhere deep, deep. It's like it's been a long time, and the girlfriend was just enamored by her body. She was touching it because she said, "What we see? We never see something like this before." And he was touching her arms, her legs, her abs. I mean, this was like about around the time when I believe she made her pro debut, but it's somewhere probably deep in her IG because that's been a long time since she did that, posted that video. But yeah, people need to be more open-minded to these men and women who do the sport because it's a lot of work. It's not easy, to get up, to diet, to train, to make so many sacrifices. Because this thing about sport. This is a sport with a lot of sacrifice involved in it. Like I said, I'm gonna leave her link in the description and in the comment section. You might want to check her out. Check out her IG if you want to follow her. We have some comments here. This is from man Chris. He says, uh, "Love Rachel Daniels and Alicia Kisley." Yeah, I agree. Also, this is from Chris. He says, "I seen Rachel and Kai do posing routines together. They are amazing." Yeah, Kai Green is a top poser doing his time. Also, this is from Award 2000. Rachel Daniels did a variation of Kanye West's Fade posing routine performance. Man on oh man, she was fire, better than Tiana Taylor for sure. You know. Also, this is from my man Warrior. Always good to have new faces to the sport. Yeah, because it is these new competitors who come in here, who want to prove themselves, who want to grow as athletes. I know I was talking with Diane. She's right now. She's just celebrated your future wife's birthday last week.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Mia. Right now, she has things she needs to do because she wants to take time to grow. Because you don't want to go in here and just get chopped up by you never know. We get it's tough because it's a tough sport.
Anytime. I need time. I'm very petite, so I need time to grow. I need to definitely prove myself, but I'm coming back. There will be a debut.
Yeah, like you're like Rocky Balboa, like Rocky. You go in there, you're
Yeah.
gonna make you eat lightning crap out under Rocky. You have big greasy Puerto Rican tank. We got here from a man warrior. He says this says just remember Smos, no D pics when you follow Sarah in the link. Yes, and same thing with any ladies. Because that's the thing is, guys, I know when you get to see these ladies on these lives, do these interviews, or just we follow them on social media, but there's a be respectful because you know what, no person wants to see what you have. You might think it's impressive, they may not. You know, it's better just to say like every so often I say something funny to somebody or something inspirational. Because sometimes I have seen something funny and say, hey, George, I might need that because it might have been a long day. I need a nice laugh. Or I see something inspirational, say, yeah, that really inspires me. Because sometimes life competitors go through a lot. Just not just the physical strain of the sport can be, but the mental strain of it, the financial strain. Anybody who gets in sport, you really have to understand all the aspects that's involved in it. The time you put into it, the money you put into it, and your whole body you put into it. And as we talk about, because like I say about myself, like myself and Jeremy and KL here, we're fans. We're fans. We're not experts. But when we do get someone like yourself, Diana, who is a competitor, who's been doing this sport for quite some time, and now you're now sitting with the IFBB Pro, moniker stick onto your social media, which helps you in the future because I think also don't you also you're a coach and trainer too? Don't you train people too?
No, I used to be a physical personal trainer, but uh, I'm an IT. I'm a nerd. I do computer stuff.
Nerds. Don't worry, but we're all nerds here, so you're in good company.
I'm a
But yeah,
better athlete than I am a trainer. So
yeah,
let's keep it right
and
there.
and that's the thing. Also, is like a lot of people got to be careful because they talk about this also on um, I saw Chris Cumberland talked about it. Some other people talk about it. Even did a live while back about it. How trainers you have to be very careful, especially with online or even with in-person trainers,
Mm.
because anybody can be a trainer, and they just cookie cut something they've seen on social media if they follow some of the top trainers. I just saw recently on Natalia Bastrova, she's switching from Shelby Starnes over to the high Nasir. And Nasir, that's one of the top guys. I mean, if you follow him, he had people like Hella Trevino. He's also working with Anastasia Ryder right now. Um, he's working with quite a few competitors, some up and
He has quite
comers.
the roster.
He has created a roster, and and Shelby Starnes. That's no shade at him. He is one of the top guys in the game for a long time. He has worked with quite a few of the top competitors. He has made some Olympians, in his career as a coach. A friend of mine, she's in talks with another top trainer. I'm not gonna mention his name. I'm not gonna mention hers. And you know, when you get to the right person, like I forget, in our interview, Dan, who's your coach? How long you've been working with him?
Coach is a friend of mine. Uh, I, I can't do online coaching, so when it came down to it, he's a friend. We used to be personal trainers together at the same gym, and a really good friend of mine, and he knows his stuff. So that's who I went with, just because it was in person. I needed someone to be there when I was prepping.
hmm Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people like to do. Like when I was going to school, I went to school the first time. I went to like a college, a community college, and I liked going to school. And then I went to online college for a bit, but it's just not the same because you don't get that same interaction with your teachers you do, because they just give you a plan, and then if you have questions, say, can I go back and go over this? And sometimes it's just kind of, I'm that person. I like to have somebody in front of me, like who can tell me what I need to know, who
Right.
can point out the things that I'm missing,
And
and I know what,
pictures. Yeah, the
yeah,
pictures only show so much. Sometimes seeing you and seeing someone in person and very different.
Yeah, but I think reason why I think online coaching got really big because of the pandemic back 4 years ago when it hit,
Mm.
and some people started to get on that. Some coaches were doing it anyway beforehand, but then more coaches realized that I don't have to go to this person's house, just jump on my phone or on my computer, and they just send me progress pictures, and we do progress over the videos. I know somebody says that they only time they met their coach is like when they either did a show and they were there for with another client, and they flew out and say, hey, to finally get to meet. But that's the relationship you want. It's good that you and your coach have this close relationship. Here this is from a man. Warrior says, "You're welcome, George. Had to put that out there. Appreciate that." Also, this is from a man. Chrissy says, "Choosing the right person to help you with your journey as an athlete is always a great thing. You need that guidance." Yeah, you do. I know some people say that they don't have a coach because they do it on their own, but it's good to get that other eye from somebody else
Yeah.
because you might miss something. You know, if you can bring in somebody who can tell you what you're missing and they understand all the aesthetics and the and what's involved as you grow and develop as an athlete, that's important. I know some people they don't have coaches, they do pretty good, but then it's good to get that second eye because you like after shows you get the critique from the judges because I think we were talking about how we will get critique from Sandy Williamson, which is one of the top judges in the IFBB. There's one guy I'm not a fan of because a comment he made, and that's Steve Weinberger. Because Jeremy and you know what Steve said, and I had a comment about him, so I'm gonna be nice for you, Diane. I'm gonna keep that to myself. But it's anything bodybuilding, whatever things it needs for it to grow. If it's this new division, okay, that's cool, that's fine. I'm on the fence on it. I'm going to be on the fence on it. So, like sometimes again, someone has to be the villain,
Mhm.
and I do it pretty good.
I found those. I was going to tell this to Diana. I found those companies that did those videos for Rachel Daniels and Brooke Walker. If you were interested, would be working with them. One of them's called Elevate Creative Media, and she's the one. They're the ones that worked with Brooke Walker for those videos that she did. And then another one is Enduring Aesthetics. They're the ones that worked with Kai Green and Rachel Daniels in the War of Art series that they did, finishing up with that video feeling good. So I don't know if that's something that you'd be interested with them, but I mean, I thought was really impressed with the videos that they've seen. I don't know if you've seen those or not. I can
Oh
send
yeah,
you
the,
clips
the
of it.
Rachel
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
amazing, amazing
yeah,
routine.
so yeah. But if you were interested in working with them, those are the companies. So yeah,
Yeah, because it helps you in your process while you're educate yourself about more about the sport, what's involved in it as you grow as an athlete, and it's good to get that other perspective from somebody who's been involved as long as they have. Maybe I don't know, you might meet up with Rachel, and maybe set something up in the future. If you get a chance. I know coming up they're supposed to be. I don't know if you can make it. There's supposed to be a workshop in March in Arizona, and I
Oh,
think I think it's being promoted by I don't know if it's Wing and Strength or somebody promoted that. I know Andrea's supposed to be there because she posted on her social media, and also I believe Sadie Williamson, some other judges and competitors going to be there. Let me see if I can pull it up.
then there's the NPC Women's Workshop.
Yeah,
There's that's like one of the bigger ones that they put out too. So
yeah, because some of those workshops they do free, and some of you have to pay a ticket. I don't know which one
that
is.
one's coming up soon, isn't it?
yeah, I think so.
In
Yeah,
Orlando.
Usually those are held at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
yeah, because I think it just I think it's they pull it up here. It's being promoted by Wings of Strength, and it's let's see about a second, and it's Here it is. It's the Athletes and Judges show. It's in Arizona. It's a workshop, March the 8th, and also discover everything about the new Fit Body Division in the seminar. Yeah, I don't care enough about it. Uh, I think they give some kind of a code because you have mutants, IamMutants.com. Andre has a Andre 620 was that $20. That's a code. Protan is also Miss Olympia code, and SqueezeMeSkinny.com has a pretty muscle code. So you never know, you might want to use any of these products for yourself. So just go to Andrea's or the Squeeze Strength platform. They have the link if you want to make time for something like that. Um, these workshops do help, and often I heard they're free. You can go and some of them free, some of you have to pay. I
Yeah,
don't know, I mean, maybe in the future, somebody
it's
might
good.
check out if I get a chance to travel. But yeah, I would say everybody needs to really know what's going through the head of the judges and the competitors, and get some advice. Because especially if you're a new competitor, you really want to get the point of view from some of these top competitors, and even some people you might have to compete against in the future. Um, Here, this is from my man. Chris, he says this. He says, Kid Acock trains herself. She doesn't have a coach, but I feel like what you said, having someone else perspective is something to consider. Yeah, and that's pretty good. I mean, and Michaela is just crazy ready. She's
There's no
crazy. I mean,
secrets. She's conditioned every like throughout the year. Always conditioned. It's insane. I need to know her
yeah,
secrets.
yeah, and especially for height, because she's not even 5 foot tall. And
Yeah,
she can, her body just, what is, I think you say, like, because of her height and how her body built, it's just very awkward, because she has a very small lower half. I think her lower half kind of takes over more of her upper half takes more of her lower half from her, because you
yeah.
really
She
look
had
at
an
it from the
injury.
top. Yeah, and maybe she didn't, I don't know, she did pretty good the last couple of Olympias, but then last year, was not her best placing. I think was she seventh, and I think she was seventh, and I think Sherry was eighth, and no, what's it? See, I think Christina Mendoza was in the see, it was Andrea, Angela, Ashley, Nadia, and I think Christina Mendoza was fifth. Then six was Lavinia Barros. Yeah, and seventh was Michaela. Andre, and then Sherry took eighth, and I think ninth was Teresa Vasic, and I forgot who was tenth. Was it the chick from Hungary? I think she was Hungary. I think she was tenth. So and there was always people talking about how uh, Alcione Barreto kind of went down next to the bottom. And her, she was last year, the year before, she was just crazy top condition. Even she was still top condition for that show. And he was kind of surprised how she dropped that low that fast.
A
Guys,
great competition, a great conversation, guys. But I gotta head out. So great to see you, Diana.
Thank
So
you.
great to
I,
see you
I
here.
hope to see
So
you.
yeah, hope to see you on here more. We've got another show tomorrow if you're interested.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
going to be at 5 o'clock. So that's every Monday. So
we'll see. We'll see. If George sends me the link.
Yeah. If you
okay,
ever, like I said, you're always welcome. Just let me know and I'll send you a link. I'm happy to send you a link.
yeah, I gotta run
Awesome.
too, but it's nice meeting you, Diana.
All righty. Appreciate those are my brothers that come in here. We're regulators. We're damn good at it too. We have here one more comment from my man Chris Metz. It says women IFB athletes who have their husbands and as coaches sometimes can be complex due to scheduling hours too. Jada Wetzel's husband is her coach, and even though she did have a different coach shortly, yeah, she did. She switched up to the same coach. I think is working with Sherry Priyami and a couple of competitors. The Outlaw, I forgot is the guy's name. He's from somewhere in Europe, and that's Sherry Priyami's coach. And I think she switched over to him, so that's her coach from now on. It's good to get a perspective from somebody else, especially if they're not related to you. Sometimes, your family members can be a little bit prejudiced. It would be your husband, your boyfriend, wife, or anybody you relationship with. This is from Boy 2000. If don't matter what picture you put up of Andrea Shaw, that makes the image look so damn beautiful due to her natural genetics and beauty. I see why you love her so much, George. Yes, I do. I love her so much. I can't help it. She's just so beautiful. I can't help it. One day I would love to meet her. I would love to interview her, but that's the only thing. But yeah, it's like I said, this is a great opportunity to get somebody in here and get their perspective on, especially on bodybuilding. Like I said, every Monday we do a Muscle Talk Monday. If you want me, if you want to take involved in that, it's like 5 o'clock on Mondays. Also, we do this table talk. You just try to get some more ladies on here. We do it once every Sunday, but I know some ladies are busy. I know this, that, but we usually have some guests on here every now and then. But I do appreciate Diana for taking the time to come in here and joining us.
Anytime, anything for you, George.
Oh wow! Anything for me. I feel so special. I just
You're amazing. What you do is great. What you're doing is great.
Well, like I said, this is why I do this because y'all ladies need more support. And if someone like Andrea Shaw takes the time off and let me know that she appreciates my support, and someone like you who appreciate my support, I mean, I see ladies make comments say, "Hey, you like the thing," but I understand some women don't want to get involved in something like this because they're afraid about we might get in trouble. Yeah. But this is
Well,
about y'all. Brett.
I can see why they wouldn't want to. I mean, there's it's a very taboo thing. It's a very the way we look. It seems odd. So people are going to ask questions, and those questions usually come down to pharmaceuticals, drugs, and a lot of women aren't comfortable talking about that. So eh, I think transparency would help remove that stigma, but time will tell.
I think it's time. This is from their warrior. He says, "Meet her, George. You want to marry Andrea." Yes, I would love to marry her. If she let me, but I don't know. I might not be a couple
You're
of things.
fangirling right now. Look at you.
I'm fan. Yeah, yes, I am. I can't help it. I
Well,
just
you have to go see her someday at the Olympia.
actually I've seen her compete before. Actually, she was guest
Oh, you
posing at
have.
Savannah. Yeah, she guest posed Savannah at Savannah Pro about a couple years back. That was my first bodybuilding show I went to, and she was there guest posing her and Mona Persilay. And I got to meet some amazing ladies. That was my first time going to a bodybuilding show. It was great for me. I enjoyed that. I was hoping to try to go see one this year, but I got to talk to a guy about a car. That car.
Mm.
I live out in the country. We need a car to get around, and it's tough to go around on Pat and Charlie
What's the
trying to get
closest big
rides.
show? What's the closest big show to you?
Closest will
Uh,
probably be Atlanta, because actually this is what I was thinking about. Because my oldest niece, she lives in Atlanta, and that I was thinking about going to that show, and I'm hoping if the car doesn't cost too much to get out, and my sister she carries me her taxes, so and whatever money I can put together, and if I stay with my niece, I don't have to pay for motels, pay for my tickets and my ride for paying her to drive me back and forth home, because first time I went to Savannah, I missed my train back and she had to come over and get her old uncle and drive me back home. And Atlanta from Savannah is a 3-hour drive, and it was a
yeah.
nice ride because Marlena, she's my niece, and she was in the military. She served like you, and she like it was great. She's I would say even though she's my niece, she's more like my little sister. I would say like that. My mama practically raised her and her brothers and sisters. But she is my niece. And I love her. And if I stay with her, I don't have to pay the cost of a motel, and I don't have to pay
Yeah.
just her to take me back home and stay with her. and then just pay for my tickets for the shows. And that saves me some money right there. So if it can work within my budget, then I am going. Also, my man, he told me he said he might want to fly me out because he's planning to do Chicago. My regular my muscle talk money partner Keith Williams, he's IFB Pro, him and his wife, they want to fly me out. I don't know if I'm ready for flying just yet. I mean, you know.
Chicago, too. It's not that far, North Carolina to Chicago, Illinois. It's cold, though, so if it's during the winter season, make sure you bundle up, because
Yeah, I think they're doing Chicago Pro, so I know most definitely it's gonna be July, so I don't worry about bowling up.
oh no.
So yeah, so that's because that's the only show in Chicago. At that it's usually around about June, I think about the mid of July. So if I can, if I can try to do either one or both of them. I think if I can do Atlanta's closer because I can drive back and forth, or like I said again, I can go. I can catch the plane out of Atlanta, and then they give you a plane ticket from Atlanta. And I can ride my niece and take a plane from Atlanta and go to Chicago, and then that be it. That's be home. That be it. But like I said, I live on a budget, so I gotta be smart about money.
Does Chicago have women's bodybuilding and women's physique?
Yes,
You know?
yes. Oh, didn't I thought I sent you the list for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because that's the Chicago Pro. That's promoted by Tim Gardner, and I think Tim Gardner put out his list of his shows. I'll send it to you when I get back on my computer and look up. And they do have women's bodybuilding, women's physique, and also he also promotes Tampa Bay Pro, and there's the Atlantic Coast, and I forget where you staying at.
I'm in Florida. Tim hosts a lot of shows here.
Yeah. So that'd be if you whenever you make your debut, those would be right here in your backyard. You get Atlantic Coast.
I was hoping to do Clash, but it looks like
that was a one-time
thing. Yeah, but it would have been amazing if they did that because their shows are mostly towards women, drawn towards women. So it would have been nice, but.
Yeah. There's Tupelo, and that's right there in Mississippi, not too far from you. And the Texas Pro, that's one of the biggest shows. And if you make top 10, you still get at least $1,000 in your pocket. I mean, that could probably barely pay your motel fees, but at least it's something. It's better than nothing.
I don't do this for the money. I do this because I love the sport. So.
And that's a good thing. But it's good. This sounds like this, sweetheart. My mom always told me a man should always have some money in his pocket. That's just it's something she told us. Always have some money in your pocket. It's good to do this because of the love of it, but it's also good to have something out of it. Because there's a lot of investment into it. This is from a man. Warrior says it will be interesting if you ask Andrea Shaw out on a date. If she comes on your channel, but be like watching a BET love movie or something. Man. Oh my man, that's my man Warrior 2000. He's a clown. I appreciate all these guys that come in here follow my channel. You shout to the guy who came here for a minute and he preached a little bit. I mean, that kind
of to him.
Yeah. I appreciate brother. That kind of caught me on guard. I mean, he probably just needs a place to go. But Diana, I do appreciate you for coming through. Thank you for taking time here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, again, if you ever want to do tomorrow, I'll send the link. If you have time, we do it at 5:00. And we just, like I said, we talk about stuff, what's going on. We do it about every other week. This year we do every once a month because, like I said, sometimes it's hard to get these ladies to come on because I know a lot of them are busy. But when I can get y'all on here and get y'all thoughts and perspective, it's truly, truly appreciated.
Thank you.
All righty. You are welcome, man. So shout out to my man, Warrior 2000 coming through here. Chris Nez, Stephon Prey, my brother Exe Gucci 23 for coming through. Lawrence Perkins, also my regulators, Jeremy, Female Muscle, and also KL the Wanderer. Folks would like to say we'd like to thank IFB Pro, a physique competitor, Diana Perez for coming through. Thank you for her time. Wish her best of luck whenever she turns pro, whenever she wants to make an announcement, when she makes her pro debut.
You'll be
That's
the
gonna.
first to know.
Thank you. We'll post it. We have a little interview. We also, if you know what, if I ever get a chance to pick the show, and if I get each opportunity, I would love to go see it live.
Hey,
Yeah,
we'll,
that is
we'll set up a GoFundMe if you need to pay for
well.
all your
Yeah,
stuff.
well, there's a GoFundMe. I got a GoFundMe, but there's nothing in it. It's on my. You can go check out my IG. It's also in the links here, and I got my PayPal, my Cash App, my
Okay.
GoFundMe. If you
You,
know, hey,
he already got
yeah,
his Venmo.
yeah, my Venmo. So anybody who's interested, because I'm not monetized on YouTube, because you have to put so many hours. You also have to pay them to pay, so you get paid. So I'm
It's
not trying to pay
ridiculous.
nobody. Yeah, I ain't trying to pay somebody so I can get paid. No, you should give to me because you want to give to me. So forget that. I'm broke. I'm broke. So, but I'd like to thank y'all again for coming through. Appreciate your time. Enjoy your rest of this week. Tomorrow, thank you to the great late Dr. Martin Luther King. Even though your day will be tainted by a garbage person, you did so much for my people, not just my people, for all people. You did so great things for us, and you sacrificed your life, and we appreciate what you have done. Let's remember you for that day, not for somebody else, not a clown who's trying to be king. So I'm just gonna be. I don't get too political, but I'm just gonna be.
No, it is unfortunate that they do fall on the same day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
He's
awkward.
gonna do his inauguration inside. He's supposed to be tough guy. Supposed to be tough guy. You know, yeah. You're just an old man. That's all he is. You just be an old man. Your bones can't handle it. Just admit it. Just admit it.
All these people need to retire.
Yeah, they do, but
They
sometimes
all need to just go, including
it's
Arnold.
yeah. I just it's not the tumor, and not the and not I love his movies coming up.
Oh yeah,
Seen almost every one of them. But his politics, when it comes down to women bodybuilding, I am not a fan of.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say
Hopefully
that.
his legacy
Well,
doesn't get tainted by his opinions.
he's a tailor of the models, yeah, yeah, that's how it is sometimes, and just how bad we used to be, and I did movies, but whatever, man, whatever, man. Anyway, I'd like to thank you again, Diane, for coming through. Thank everybody who's here. I appreciate for your time. Wish y'all a great rest of your week, and also happy Dr. King Day. All right. This is Mel Richards Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, subscribe. I am out. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and the best of luck.